With Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon out in the wild for a few months now, it's become clear that Generation 7 has more warts than we initially thought. However, in my opinion, the one area it shines brighter than How's ridiculous smile is in its phenomenal roster of brand new pocket monsters. There really is something here for everyone who adores this series, and so I thought with Game Freak already talking about what lies ahead, now would be a great time to reflect on the best Pokemon Gen 7 brought to the franchise. All 85 tropical additions to the National Dex are on the table. However, no matter how much I love Psychic Raichu, or the most memeable thing in Pokemon since Brock's drying pan, you won't be seeing any Alola forms on this list. Besides, they had their chance to impress over 20 years ago, so I'd say it's only fair to give these new kids a shot. So grab your wetsuit and saddle up your Mantine as we dive headfirst into the countdown. You know, as much as I wish that video games would be taken more seriously among some social circles, I gotta admit, sometimes they can get pretty goofy. Now, usually I hate it when a tense or stressful moment is undermined by the immature, but for whatever reason when it comes to Guzma, I can't help but smile whenever he shows up. And no matter what situation he may find himself a part of, you know your boy never travels alone. Golisopod is just such a cool looking Pokemon, and the more I battle with Team Skull's hyperactive leader, the more it grows on me. I've yet to use one for myself, but the way its appearance and ability mirror Guzma's personality make it another iconic partner Pokemon. And with a powerful move pool and a fantastic bug water typing, it can make or break any solid team. It's a great companion, an original concept, and more than deserving of cracking my favorites. In my book, there are 3 types that really got a massive boost in exposure from Generation 7. We'll see examples of the 2 others as we continue this countdown. However, for the second slot in a row, I'm going to shine the spotlight on another magnificent bug type in Vikavolt. Talonflame notwithstanding, I'm typically not the sort to start adding Route 1 monsters immediately to my team. But as soon as I saw Grubbin's typing as well as its lunchbox-shaped design, I knew I had to have it. We've all known about the effective combination of electric and bug since Gen 5's Galvantula, but in my opinion, Vikavolt just does it better. And for being pretty unique in both typing and design, as well as being one of my favorite glass cannons in the series, Vikavolt holds a special place in my heart. For whatever reason, when it comes to Pokemon with multiple forms, I try to stay as far away as possible. It's not on purpose or anything, I'm just really not into the whole competitive scene, so my Rotom is never a lawnmower and my Genesect is devoid of any flashy drives. However, while playing through Ultra Moon, one Pokemon that fits into this category ended up being my team's MVP, and now I'm happy to say that I've finally seen the light. On the surface, Oricorio may just seem like another gimmick. I mean, the thing is always dancing, like it just does not stop no matter what nectar you use. And yet, as I conquered trial after trial and began utilizing its various typings to specifically combat Alola's strongest trainers, I couldn't help but find myself looking forward to the next fight. I'm sure there's tons of better new flying types, but I love how each form is bathed in its own distinct culture. And because of Oricorio's unbreakable rhythm and its unparalleled variety, it's easily the most surprising Pokemon among my sumo favorites. Oh, and in case you're wondering, among the forms, Pau is probably my favorite, even if I can barely pronounce it. Since Gen 4 introduced Luxray, I've been desperately hoping that we'd one day get a proper electric dark type in a future generation. And yet, despite having well over 300 new additions to the series since then, my dream Pokemon somehow still eludes me. And so I continue to wander the globe searching and waiting for my selfish wish to finally come true. But in the meantime, at least I can finally check that elusive poison fire pairing off of my most requested combos. Salazzle may have taken 20 years to give us an idea of what such a fusion would look like, but if they're always going to be this good, then I think it was worth the wait. Between the Marini line, Neoligo, and even Poipole, Poison in general got a decent boost this time around, but for my money, Salandit and Salazzle are the real standouts. Say what you will about the whole harem thing, but you gotta admit, it really does make this toxic lizard both harder to acquire and one of the more memorable additions we've gotten in some time. And be honest, if you didn't choose Litten as your starter, there's like an 80% chance you grinded in the well of Volcano Park until you added a female Salandit to your team. And you know what? I don't blame you one bit, because I'll be doing the exact same thing during my next playthrough. I mean, seriously, 8 resistances? Game Freak, that is insane. Now let's crack down and make that Dark Electric type Pokemon a thing in Gen 8, okay? Just please make sure it's as interesting as Salazzle. This entry is going to be quick because for whatever reason, I sort of feel like including legendaries or Ultra Beasts is kind of like cheating. But my own weird rules aside, I really love Kartana. I love its brilliant orange and white origami influenced design, I love its unique grass and steel typing, and most of all I love that it's so tiny it can fit in the palm of your hand. Although if you do choose to do that last one, I really hope you're a fan of Captain Hook. Getting serious for a second though, this is both my favorite Ultra Beast and my favorite legendary Pokemon in all of Sun and Moon, if you want to count it as such. And in a region with some truly creative and meaningful rare Pokemon, that alone cements it as one of my personal favorites from Sun and Moon. Hey, remember all the way back in 7th spot where I talked about how awesome new typing combinations can be? Well, at number 5, we have yet another original outlier in Crabominable. However, its clashing type combination is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to reasons I love this Pokemon. Get it? Iceberg? Yeah, I know it's corny, but hey, so is this fighting ice Pokemon. Taking the stoic Crabrawler and transforming it into a Yeti with really bad hair is not going to sit well with most trainers. But I think the idea of this menacing crustacean training so hard in frigid temperatures and having no choice but to both literally and figuratively evolve in order to combat the impossible climate is such a genius concept. And if you can look past the buck teeth and fur coat, you'll find a terrifying partner with enough attack power to knock any opponent out cold. Crabominable is one of those creatures that isn't just awesome, it's also a walking lesson in persevering through the hardest of struggles, and because the one on my team got me out of all sorts of trouble, and because it also reminds me of the Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it cracks my top 5 favorite Gen 7 monsters. I have a weird hunch that this placement is going to surprise a lot of people, but considering I've yet to actually use one on my team, it's sort of reasonable that no matter how great its design is, Minior still isn't among the biggest stars on this countdown. With a rainbow of colors to choose from and the ultimate shiny form, it's still among Alola's best, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't have its limitations as a team member. Sometimes to be memorable, all you need is a great concept, and with that going for it, plus an original ability that makes it stand out even more, it falls just shy of my top 3, but who knows? Someday when I actually train one for myself, maybe it'll rank even higher. Do you know what my favorite animal in the world is? No? Well, in case you've ever wondered such a personal question, the answer is the snowy owl. Also, on a completely unrelated note, did you know that with a few exceptions, I almost always gravitate towards grass-type starters for no particular reason other than they're often the coolest looking to me? So yeah, I guess you could say that when I found out about a certain Gen 7 starter, I was on Team Rowlet all the way. But what I wasn't expecting was how much I'd get attached to its ghoulish evolution, Decidueye. Badass style? Check. Flexible moveset? Check. Spooky design concept involving Hawaii's extinct stilt owl that explains why it's part Robin Hood, part ghost? Check. But at the end of the day, the reason I love it so much is the most obvious. It was my very first buddy on my Alolan adventure, and for giving me yet another reason to keep picking grass starters, it's among my very favorite in Pokemon Sun and Moon. One thing that kind of upset me as I popped my Sun cartridge into my 3DS for the first time was that I felt I'd seen too much of the game already. There was trailer after trailer showcasing what seemed like every new creature, and I mean it seemed like even the post-game wasn't safe. So you can understand why at that time I honestly believed that there would be no surprises left as I started up the game. But then as I made my way towards the water trial, something happened that caught me completely off guard. This creepy looking scuba spider popped up out of nowhere, and for the first time during my playthrough, I felt like anything could happen. Somehow, even Game Freak must have realized that Dewpider and its evolution Araquanid were so fantastic that they miraculously let the player find them on their own, and as soon as I saw this bug-eyed beauty, I knew it was going to anchor my team. Water Bubble is such a brilliant ability, and I'm not kidding when I say that this is probably my favorite bug-type Pokemon in the entire series. It's got an out-of-this-world design, a fun typing, and of course, it helped reignite my excitement for the rest of my adventure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are just a few of the reasons why I hold Dupiter in such a high regard. But as you're about to find out, there's one creature left that means so much more. How do they do it? How can a team of designers continue to capture lightning in a bottle not just again and again, but hundreds of times over? There are more than 800 Pokemon out in the world now, and yet somehow Game Freak refuses to let up and is still managing to bring us new and exciting iconic little monsters every 3 years. Type Null, Beware, Mudsdale, Palossand, Rockruff, the Tapus, Delmise, even Naganadel are all so good and belong to this universe so well that I considered making this a top 20 just so I could gush about them all in full. But despite how much all of those additions mean to me in their own special way, the Pokemon that's slowly grown to make more of an impact than all of them combined is Gen 7's most popular Pokemon, Mimikyu. I've spoken on this nefarious Pikachu wannabe at length in my top 10 Gen 7 Shinies video, but this is what masterpiece Pokemon design looks like. Seriously, what other Pokemon has a backstory like this with so much relatability? What Pokemon has its own distinctive personality where it just wants to feel loved or be accepted? And what Pokemon out there has a built-in ambition to win you over and become an icon in its own way? But those are reasons that make it popular and adored by everyone around the world, so why does it mean something to me? Well, simply put, this is the Pokemon that changed my life. I could have never imagined in late 2016, when I streamed my hunt for a shiny Mimikyu, that there were so many other people out there that loved this series in the same ways that I do. What was supposed to be a quick 2-hour stream turned into an 8-hour therapy session, and just as I began nodding off at 1 AM in the morning, after meeting so many new subscribers from around the globe, Peekaboo finally showed up. It's because of that one stream and that one Pokemon that RandomTens soared beyond my wildest dreams, that I made so many new friends both on and off the internet, and that I was finally able to dive into YouTube full time. And even if I don't get to do this forever, I still will forever feel indebted to this ghoulish fairy type for allowing me to live out my dreams. That's why my sponsor mascot is a shiny Mimikyu. That's why it's the only Gen 7 plush I own. And that's why I had to do this. To me, Mimikyu is more than just a Pokemon. It's a reminder of all you guys out there and this community we built together. And that's why from now on, this little guy will be joining us on the rest of our adventures no matter what comes our way. So yeah, to put it lightly, shiny Mimikyu is without a doubt my favorite Pokemon in Sun and Moon, and at this point, it's probably safe to say it's also my favorite Pokemon of all time. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite Pokemon from across Alola, but please let me know your favorites in the comments section below. I'm sure many of you are still a bit surprised, so if you want to see my tattoo vlog, please check out my second channel, RandomTens, for more info. If you enjoyed this countdown, consider giving it a like, and if you're new and want more videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button. Finally, I want to thank my sponsors for enabling me to do this, and I hope you guys who support me through the good and the bad got a major kick out of this. I'll be back soon with another countdown, and the rarest will be making its long-awaited return shortly, but for now, take care my friends, and as I always say, happy hunting baby rhinos.